I am KB with Nerdophiles. How are each of you?
Lovely to see you again.
Good. How are you?
Yes, lovely to see you again as well, and lovely to meet you both. Okay, so I will dive right in, and I'm going to start with you two, Jonathan and Simone. So there are so many sacrifices that Kate and Lord Antony make. Obviously they carry the weight and responsibility of being the oldest, but they're both learning how to be vulnerable and peel back some of the layers. So can you talk a little bit about balancing each of your characters' practicality and the softness kind of their hearts through their dynamics with each other this season? And I'll start with you, Simone.
I love what you were saying about kind of going beneath the layers with one another. I think they really encourage that. They kind of learn lessons from each other, whether it's unconsciously or not. I think to dig deeper, to not be so afraid of love. And I think they don't really realize what's happening until later on in the series, because it is that transition from enemies to lovers. Yeah, I've kind of lost sight of the question, but I was picking up on something you said earlier.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. No.
The enemies to lovers trope is fascinating, isn't it, in the romance genre anyway? But it's true that I think they have this wild sort of magnetism of curiosity where they both exist in their own world of isolation, really, where they're living selflessly to their own detriment for their families. And I suppose the enemies to lovers factor is identifying in someone else what you don't like about yourself. And so they sort of remedy each other, and that's what's amazing. And that's where it comes from. The healing starts as soon as they meet and they don't even realize it. And actually the moment that they meet on the horseback and then they meet at the ball, and it's that interaction which he's already a better person by the end of that conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's such an expansive and sort of sumptuous love story, because it's really rooted in something quite psychological and a lot of pain as well from the past. So.
Yeah, and it's igniting hope in these two characters that have experienced a lot of pain from the past, when they kind of think, it wasn't ever going to be possible for them, but possible for everyone else around them. And
there's nothing more romantic than two people who've given up hope to then restore their faith in themselves and each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that answer. Okay, for you, Charithra, listen, it takes quite a while for Edwina to kind of open up her eyes and really see what's happening right in front of her. But when she does, what I like is that it empowers her to take hold of her own life again and to take control for herself. So talk a little bit about kind of what this switch is that occurs for her. And do you think it's out of selflessness, or really that she's just being fed up with kind of all of the lies, that she kind of removes herself from this love triangle?
Well, it's interesting because people tend to say that I know which moment you're referring to, but I actually think the switch happens a lot earlier. I think it's a disappointment that happens at the end of episode 3, where she then goes, okay, other people's plans for me weren't working, so let me now take control. And it's just the culmination of that you see later on.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah,
you see her starting to take the reins in episode 4.
And orchestrate things herself.
Yeah.
And I think that truthfully, when I was playing Edwina, it didn't really come from a place of selflessness. It came from a place of actually, I deserve better and I deserve more. And
she knows what she wants.
100%. And it's she's not willing to go along with the facade. She can only be truthful at that point. And so I think, and I think it's incredibly brave, because in many ways it would have been easier to not. It would have been easier to live the lie. So really, it is her biggest act of bravery.
And she has the emotional toolkit that these two do not.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easy to forget that, because of Edwina, and in episode 8, she is the one that pushes company together over the vision.
No, I mean, it's so, I love that.
So it's a full circle, but she's always the one who's present and is aware of what's going on.
I mean, she kind of does a mic drop exit in episode 6. Kind of left the whip, we're just.
Yeah. And it felt I do. And playing the scenes also, seeing that amazing transformation in Charithra's performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because anyway.
Yeah, well, I loved it. And I actually love how full circle it comes for each of you. Once, you really just choose yourself, choose your heart, choose what's best for each of you. So I love that full circle moment. So thank you so much for chatting with Nerdophiles. Really appreciate it.
We love
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So good to see you.